Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up, sit on the edge of the bed, and wonder why your body feels just a little heavier than it used to? Not in a sad way, but in that "where did my energy go" kind of way. You stretch your arms, maybe pour yourself a cup of tea or coffee, and the day ahead feels a little slower. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. It's not that life after 60 has to be slower, it's just that our bodies and minds need a bit more intentional care to feel light, strong, and vibrant again. And the good news? It doesn't take huge changes or exhausting routines. Sometimes, the smallest daily habits can transform how you feel, not just physically, but emotionally too. Think of self-care as a gentle promise you make to yourself every single day. It's not selfish. It's not indulgent, it's maintenance for the incredible life you've already lived and the years you still have ahead. And when you commit to it, you'll notice something magical. You stop merely getting through the day and start actually enjoying it. That's what we're going to explore today, 5 simple self-care habits that every senior should practice daily, so you can feel more alive, more capable, and more connected to yourself and the world around you. Let's start with something so basic that most people overlook at hydration. Now, I know, you've heard drink more water for decades, but here's the thing. As we age, our sense of thirst becomes less reliable. By the time you feel thirsty, your body is already running low. Dehydration doesn't just make you feel tired, it can affect your memory, your mood, and even your balance. I've had friends tell me they thought they were getting forgetful or just slowing down. But when they started drinking enough water, their brain fog lifted. Imagine that: a clearer mind, fewer dizzy spells, and better energy, all from a glass of water. You don't need to carry around a giant water jug. Just make it a point to sip steadily throughout the day. A glass before breakfast, one mid-morning, another in the afternoon, it all adds up. And if plain water feels boring, add a slice of lemon, cucumber, or even a few berries for flavor. Once you've got your body well hydrated, the next habit builds on that foundation: gentle daily movement. I'm not talking about running marathons or lifting heavy weights at the gym. I mean moving in a way that feels kind to your joints, but still gets your blood flowing and your muscles working. Think about a morning stretch routine, a walk around the block, or even dancing in your kitchen to your favorite song. The point isn't just exercise, it's reminding your body that it's still strong, still capable, and still meant to move. Regular movement keeps your joints flexible, strengthens your balance, and gives you that wonderful rush of endorphins, the natural mood boosters that make you feel lighter and happier. I remember meeting a gentleman in his early 70s who started a 5-minute morning stretch habit because his doctor told him his posture was slumping. Within months, not only was he standing straighter, but he also said his back pain had all but disappeared. That's the power of small, consistent effort. The key is to make it part of your day so it becomes as natural as brushing your teeth. Pair it with something you already do: stretch while the kettle boils. Walk to the corner store instead of driving, or do gentle leg lifts while you're watching TV. Little movements add up, and your body will thank you for it. Now, once you're hydrated and moving, let's talk about something just as important, but often neglected: mindful breathing. This isn't about sitting cross-legged for an hour in meditation unless you want to. I'm talking about taking a few minutes each day to slow down your breath, fill your lungs deeply, and let the air go gently. You'd be amazed how much stress you carry in your body without realizing it. A deep breath sends a signal to your nervous system that you're safe, that you can relax. There's a simple way to start. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold it gently for a count of 4. Then exhale slowly for a count of 6. Repeat this for a few rounds, and you might feel your shoulders drop, your jaw unclench, and your mind get just a bit quieter. It's especially helpful before meals, before bed, or any time you feel tense. Breathing this way doesn't just calm your mind, it can lower your blood pressure, improve your focus, and even help you sleep better. And the best part? You can do it anywhere: sitting in a chair, lying in bed, even while waiting in line at the grocery store. These three habits, hydrating, moving gently, and breathing mindfully, may sound simple, but they create a foundation for every other aspect of your self-care. They work together, like a team, to help your body and mind function at their best. You'll notice that your energy feels steadier, your thoughts feel clearer, and your body feels more responsive. And from there, it becomes so much easier to take on the rest of your day with confidence and joy. Now that we've built that foundation, we can move toward habits that feed not just your body, but also your mind and your sense of connection, because self-care isn't just about keeping your body running. It's also about nourishing the parts of you that make life feel meaningful. One of the most overlooked ways to do that is through engaging your mind every single day. Think of your brain like a garden. If you stop tending it, the weeds of forgetfulness and sluggish thinking start to creep in. But if you feed it, water it, and give it sunlight, it stays alive and blooming. Feeding your mind doesn't have to mean cracking open a heavy textbook or memorizing lists of facts. It can be as simple as reading a chapter of a book you love, learning a new recipe, listening to a podcast, or doing a crossword puzzle with your morning coffee. The key is to give your brain something to chew on, something that stretches it just a little beyond its comfort zone. I know a woman in her late 60s who decided to start learning Spanish because her grandson married a woman from Mexico. She said at first it felt like her brain was creaking every time she tried to remember a new word, but after a few months, she noticed she was thinking more clearly in every area of life. That's the kind of ripple effect mental engagement can have. Even conversations can be mental nourishment. Call an old friend. Talk about a topic you're both curious about, and you'll feel your mind light up. It's not just the words, it's the connection, the laughter, the shared stories. That brings me to another habit that's just as vital for your well-being: nurturing your emotional connections. As we get older, it's easy to slip into routines where we see fewer people and have fewer deep conversations. Sometimes, it's because friends move away or family gets busy. Sometimes, it's because it just feels easier to stay home. But here's the truth: humans are wired for connection, and without it, our mood, motivation, and even our physical health can take a hit. Reaching out doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It could be sharing a cup of tea with a neighbor, sending a quick "thinking of you" message, or making a weekly phone call to someone you love. There's something powerful about knowing someone out there is glad you exist. It lifts you. It gives you a reason to smile before the day even begins. I once met a retired teacher who said her happiest time of the week was when she volunteered for 2 hours at the local library. She wasn't just helping people find books, she was sharing stories, listening to theirs, and leaving each shift feeling more alive than when she walked in. That's the kind of emotional nourishment that keeps your spirit healthy. And here's the beauty: when you combine mental engagement with emotional connection, they reinforce each other. A lively conversation can spark new ideas. Learning something new can give you a reason to share it with someone else. It's a cycle of vitality that keeps you looking forward to tomorrow. Of course, even the best intentions can get pushed aside if you're not caring for your inner calm. That's why making space for quiet reflection is the next habit I want to share. It doesn't need to be anything formal, just a few moments each day to be still, check in with yourself, and let your thoughts settle. For some, this looks like prayer. For others, it's sitting by a window watching the sunrise, or journaling for 10 minutes before bed. The point is to create a gentle pause in your day where you're not reacting to anything: no phone, no TV, no to-do list. In those moments, you might notice gratitude bubbling up for things you didn't even register before. The way sunlight warms your kitchen table, the taste of fresh fruit, the sound of a bird outside your window. These aren't just pleasant thoughts, they're anchors that keep you steady when life feels uncertain. When you start to layer these habits: hydrating your body, moving it, breathing deeply, feeding your mind, connecting emotionally, and finding moments of stillness, you create a rhythm to your days that feels nourishing instead of draining. You stop moving through life on autopilot and start being fully present in it. And that presence, that sense of truly living your days instead of just passing through them, might be the most powerful form of self-care there is. Next, I want to take you into a habit that ties all of this together and turns it into something deeply personal, because when all these habits come together, they start shaping not just your day, but your whole sense of self. And that's where the final habit lives: practicing daily gratitude and self-kindness. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you for the big things. It's about noticing the small, almost invisible blessings that often slip past without a second thought. The steady beat of your heart, the smell of your morning coffee, the fact that you woke up today with another chance to experience something new. When you take a moment each day to name 3 things you're grateful for, whether you say them out loud, jot them in a notebook, or simply hold them in your mind, it shifts your focus. Suddenly, instead of dwelling on what's missing, you see what's abundant. I once spoke with a man in his early 80s who kept a little gratitude jar on his kitchen counter. Every evening, he'd write one small thing from his day on a scrap of paper, something as simple as "saw a beautiful sunset," or "the soup turned out perfect." On days when he felt lonely or low, he'd pull out a few of those notes and read them. He said it was like lighting a candle in a dark room. It didn't erase the hard moments, but it made them easier to bear. Alongside gratitude comes self-kindness, and that's where many people struggle, especially those who've spent a lifetime caring for others. Self-kindness is not laziness or indulgence. It's treating yourself with the same patience and compassion you'd offer a dear friend. That means forgiving yourself for the small mistakes, speaking to yourself with encouragement instead of criticism, and allowing rest when you need it without guilt. Maybe that looks like taking a quiet afternoon to read instead of tackling another chore. Maybe it's telling yourself, "I'm doing enough," when you feel pressured to do more. Self-kindness is giving yourself permission to be human, to have days when you shine and days when you simply get by. And when you pair it with gratitude, it becomes a powerful force that keeps your spirit resilient. Here's the thing: these habits aren't meant to be chores. They're gifts you give yourself. You don't have to get them perfect every day. You don't have to practice them all at once. What matters is showing up for yourself again and again in ways that keep you nourished in body, mind, and spirit. Because life after 60 isn't about slowing down, it's about savoring more deeply. It's about trading the frantic pace for a rhythm that feels good in your bones. It's about making space for joy, strength, curiosity, and connection in every single day you have. So tomorrow morning, when you swing your legs out of bed, remember that your day doesn't have to just happen to you. You can shape it. You can choose to hydrate, to move, to breathe, to learn, to connect, to be still, to feel grateful, and to be kind to yourself. And each time you do, you're not just practicing self-care, you're building a life that feels worth waking up to. And as you carry these habits forward, I hope you find yourself feeling lighter, more alive. Have a way of rippling out to the people around you. When you take care of yourself, you naturally show up with more patience, more warmth, and more energy for those you love. Your smile feels genuine. Your laughter comes easier. Even the way you listen changes, because you're not running on empty, you've filled your own cup first. I've seen it happen so many times. A grandmother who started walking every morning not only improved her health, but began inviting her neighbor to join her, and now they share stories along the way. A retired couple who set aside 10 quiet minutes each day to breathe and reflect found they argued less and appreciated each other more. Self-care isn't just self-serving, it's a quiet, powerful gift to everyone in your circle. It also helps you meet life's challenges with more steadiness. Let's be honest, getting older doesn't mean life suddenly becomes smooth and simple. There are still doctor's visits, unexpected bills, family worries, and days when your body doesn't quite cooperate. But when you've built these habits into your daily life, you have a foundation that makes the hard days easier to navigate. You have tools to steady yourself, to refill your energy, and to keep your perspective clear even when things feel uncertain. And here's something worth remembering. It's never too late to start. I've met people who began focusing on their self-care in their 70s, 80s, even 90s. And they still saw remarkable changes. Energy returned. Moods lifted. Aches eased. The mind sharpened. Not because they found some magic cure, but because they decided their well-being was worth investing in every single day. If you've been waiting for the right time to start, let this be your moment. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just choose one thing today: a glass of water, a 5-minute walk, a phone call to someone you care about, and do it. Tomorrow, do it again. Maybe adding another. Before long, you'll notice these little acts becoming part of your rhythm, woven into the fabric of your days. And when you look back, you might be surprised to see how far you've come, not because you raced, but because you kept showing up for yourself, gently, consistently, without giving up. That's the heart of self-care. It's not about chasing youth. It's about honoring the life you have right now, in this moment, and making it as rich, joyful, and full as it can be. So here's my hope for you: that you wake each morning knowing you have the power to shape the kind of day you want to live, and that you end each evening feeling grateful for the moments you created. Because at the end of it all, these small, loving choices are what make the years after 60 not just good years, but golden ones. Here's to you, stronger, brighter, and more alive than ever. And as you carry this forward, remember that self-care is not a finish line you cross, but a lifelong companion that walks beside you. Some days, it might look effortless. You'll glide through your morning routine, savor your meals, connect deeply with people you love, and end the day with a quiet smile. Other days, it might feel like you're moving through mud, and even the smallest step forward takes effort. Both days matter. Both days count. On the easier days, you're building momentum. On the harder days, you're building resilience. Every time you choose to drink that glass of water, stretch your body, feed your mind, or speak kindly to yourself, you're sending a message deep into your spirit. I am worth the care I give. And over time, that message changes you, not just in how you feel physically, but in how you see yourself. It's a shift from thinking, "I'm just getting older," to realizing, "I'm still living, learning, and growing." That change in perspective is powerful. It opens the door to new possibilities, new friendships, new hobbies, new joys you might have once thought were for younger people. Because here's the truth: your capacity for joy has no expiration date. If you ever doubt that, just remember the countless people who have started painting in their 70s, taken up dancing in their 80s, or fallen in love for the first or second time while past 90. Life doesn't stop offering beauty. Sometimes we just have to take better care of ourselves to be able to notice and receive it. So let today be the day you decide to lean into these habits. Not as chores to check off, but as threads weaving together a life you love living. Because when you do, you're not just extending your years, you're filling them. You're creating mornings that feel fresh, afternoons that hold purpose, and evenings that end with peace in your heart. And in that quiet moment before you drift off to sleep, you'll know that you've done something deeply important. You've shown up for yourself, fully and without apology. And that, my friend, is the kind of self-care that not only sustains life, but makes it worth cherishing. And maybe, as these habits become part of who you are, you'll start to notice something subtle but beautiful. You're not just maintaining your health, you're deepening your enjoyment of life itself. A sip of cool water tastes crisper. A morning walk feels like a gift instead of a task. Conversations linger in your heart a little longer. Quiet moments become rich, not empty. This is what happens when self-care stops being an obligation and becomes a natural expression of self-respect. You're no longer doing these things just because you should. You're doing them because they make you feel alive. And when you feel alive, you naturally bring more light into the world around you. People will notice. A neighbor might comment on the extra spring in your step. A friend might say your laugh sounds different, fuller, freer. And you'll realize it's not just about drinking water, stretching, learning, or practicing gratitude. It's about reclaiming a sense of ownership over how you live each day. Life after 60 is often painted as a time of slowing down, but I believe it's a time of deepening. You have more wisdom, more perspective, and, if you choose, more presence than at any other stage. These habits are simply tools to help you enjoy that depth without being weighed down by avoidable aches, fatigue, or loneliness. And perhaps the most empowering truth of all is that this is entirely in your hands. You can start right now, in this very moment. You can decide to pour a glass of water, take a few slow breaths, call a loved one, read a page of a book, or simply close your eyes and notice one thing you're grateful for. That's all it takes to begin. Because every day you choose to care for yourself, you're not just adding time to your life, you're adding life to your time. And that, more than anything, is what makes these years not only golden, but truly your own. Here's to waking up tomorrow, and every day after, with the quiet confidence that you have everything you need to live fully, love deeply, and care for yourself in the way you've always deserved. And when you reach that place where caring for yourself feels as natural as breathing, you'll see that the real reward isn't just in the habits themselves, but in the way they transform your everyday moments. You'll feel it in the ease of getting up from a chair without stiffness, in the calm that lingers after a deep breath, in the warmth that spreads through you after a heartfelt conversation. These are the quiet victories that tell you you're doing something right. What's even more remarkable is how these small acts begin to weave together into a sense of steady confidence. Not the kind that comes from youth or chasing big achievements. When it needs nourishing food or a sip of water, you become more in tune with your mind, recognizing the moments when you need to pause, refocus, or fill it with something uplifting. And you become more in tune with your heart, aware of when you need connection, kindness, or simply a quiet moment to yourself. And here's the beautiful truth. You've earned this. You've spent decades giving your time, your energy, your care to others, raising families, building careers, supporting friends and communities. Now, this chapter of life can be about turning some of that care inward without guilt or hesitation. Not because you're done giving to others, but because you've learned that the more you give to yourself, the more you actually have to share. It's not about perfection. There will be days when you skip your walk or forget to drink enough water. There will be moments when stress gets the better of you, or when you feel too tired to engage your mind. That's okay. Self-care isn't about never missing a step, it's about always finding your way back, gently and without judgment. Every time you return to these habits, you're reaffirming that your well-being matters. You're reminding yourself that this life, this one beautiful, unpredictable life, is worth tending to with care and love. And in doing so, you're creating a version of your days that is lighter, richer, and more deeply yours. So as you move forward, let these habits be your quiet anchors. Let them hold you steady when the world feels uncertain, and lift you higher when joy comes your way. And above all, let them remind you, day after day, that you are worthy of every bit of care you give yourself. Because in the end, that's the heart of it, you are worth it. Not just on the days you feel strong and capable, but on the days you feel tired, discouraged, or unsure. Self-care isn't a reward you earn by being good or doing enough. It's a birthright. Something every human deserves, and something that becomes even more precious as the years go by. When you wake in the morning and choose to drink that water, take that walk, breathe deeply, feed your mind, reach out to someone, or count your blessings, you're doing more than starting your day. You're making a statement to yourself, I matter. And that simple truth is powerful. It changes how you carry yourself. It changes the energy you bring into every interaction. It changes how you see the world and how the world sees you. You might even find that people around you start to mirror your habits. A friend begins walking more because you've inspired them. A grandchild learns the value of gratitude because they've seen you practice it. Your self-care becomes a quiet legacy, something that shapes not just your life, but the lives of those you love. And perhaps the most beautiful thing is that this isn't about chasing some distant goal. It's not about waiting until you've fixed everything before you can be happy. It's about finding joy and strength in the small, daily choices you make right now. So tonight, as you prepare for bed, think of one gentle thing you can do for yourself tomorrow. Just one. Because your best years aren't behind you. They're the ones you choose to live fully, starting today. And with every sip of water, every stretch, every deep breath, every shared smile, every quiet moment of gratitude, you're not just adding days to your life. You're adding life to your days. Here's to you, to your health, your joy, and your unwavering worth. May every day ahead be a day you choose to care for yourself, because you've always deserved nothing less.